watching shadows dance against the neon blue, thinking about the things that you're meant to do. A map in your head, a fire in your sleep, but the mountain looks high and the valley looks deep. You're waiting for a sign, waiting for the light to turn the maybe into something bright. But the clock is a rhythm that doesn't wait, standing at the handle of a golden gate. It's a quiet vibration, a pull in the soul, between the fragment and the beautiful whole. The fear is a ghost, the doubt is a chain, but the sun is still burning behind the rain. Whatever you can do, a dream you can do, open up the door and walk on through. Begin it right now, let the story start, with the steady rhythm of a daring heart. Boldness has genius, power and grace, and a little bit of magic in every space. Yeah, begin it, baby, just begin it. The genius is hidden in the very first step, the secrets that the hesitant have never kept. Once you're in motion, the universe bends, turning the strangers into soulful friends. The power is a river that starts to flow the moment you decide that you're gonna go. It's a syncopated spark, a cosmic design, tracing out a different and a bolder line. You know, we spend so much time preparing to live, polishing the shoes, checking the weather, waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. But perfection is a ghost. The only real thing is the begin. There's a strange kind of alchemy in a bold move. The second you commit, the world starts to move with you. It brings the genius, it brings the power, it brings that unexplainable magic. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to feel the groove. Step out. Whatever you can do, a dream you can do, open up the door and walk on through. Begin it right now, let the story start, with the steady rhythm of a daring heart. Boldness has genius, power and grace, and a little bit of magic in every space. In this lo-fi space we find the how, launching the miracle right here and now. Boldness is the key, baby, let it roll. Begin it, the magic is there, go. You're checking every corner, looking under every stone, trying to find a version of a soul you've never known. Like you're lost in a museum with a blindfold on your eyes, waiting for who you are to be a big surprise. You think there's a secret map hidden in the dust, a pre-written destiny that you just gotta trust. But the mirror's just a surface and the mountain's just a view. It's not gonna whisper the hidden truth of you. It's a quiet vibration, the shift in the hand, realizing the gold isn't buried in the sand. There's no treasure chest, no key inside the glove, no perfect you just falling from above. Life isn't about finding yourself, baby, can't you see? In this lo-fi rhythm of pure identity, life is about creating yourself piece by piece, finding the friction and finding the release. Yeah. You're the architect, you're the ink and the pen, building up the spirit again and again. Take the clay and take the color, take the static and the spark, build a little lighthouse in the middle of the dark. It's in the way you talk, it's in the way you choose, the signature you're writing in the rhythm of the blues. You want a finished statue, waiting for the light. You're the chisel and the hammer in the middle of the night. Every mistake is a texture, every scar is a line in a sophisticated, beautiful, original design. You know, we spend years searching for ourselves like we're a lost set of keys. We wait for a moment of clarity to show us who we were meant to be. But that's the trick. There is no meant to be. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You're a record being cut right now. You're the sculptor and you're the stone. Every beat you follow, every choice you make, every yes and every no, that's the creation. Don't go looking for a soul. Just pick up the brush, start the groove. Masterpiece right here and now. Keep building, baby. Let it roll. Not finding, but creating. The work is never done. You're searching through the attic of a dusty mind, looking for a you that you're supposed to find, waiting for a map or a sign in the stars, like you're trapped behind some invisible bars. You think there's a secret, a hidden gold mine, a version of yourself that's already divine. But the mirror is empty and the shadows are deep, and the promises made are just secrets to keep it. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the dream. Things aren't always exactly what they seem. The discovery phase is a beautiful lie, while the best of your moments are passing you by. Life isn't about finding yourself, don't you see? In this lo-fi rhythm of pure energy, life is about creating yourself from the start, with a steady hand and a conscious heart. Yeah, you're the architect, the chisel and the stone, building up a kingdom that is yours alone. Take clay of the morning and the ink of the night. Paint your own colors in the pale moonlight. It's in the choices you make and the words that you speak. The mountain, the spirit that you're willing to seek. You aren't a statue waiting for the sun. The work of the artist is never quite done. The funk is in the action, the jazz is in the change. Rearranging the stars in a different range. You know, we spend so much time looking for our purpose, like it's something lost in the back of a drawer. But look at your hands, look at your breath. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You're a blank canvas, baby. Every beat you follow, every risk you take, that's the creation. You don't find the groove, you are the groove. Life isn't about finding yourself, don't you see? And there's a lo-fi rhythm of pure energy. Life is about creating yourself from the start, with a steady hand and a conscious heart. Yeah, you're the architect, the chisel and the stone, building up a kingdom that is yours alone. In this lo-fi space, we find the how, launching the spirit right here and now. Keep building, baby, let it roll. Not finding, but creating. The masterpiece is you. I'm sitting at the counter just trying to be, but I'm caught in the web of the things that they see. 1,000 little cameras in a stranger's stare, judging the way that I'm sitting right there. I'm a character written in a book, not my own, defined by the silence and the sharp judging tone. They're carving my image out of marble and ice, and I'm paying the hidden psychological price. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the space, the weight of the gaze on a tired old face. I'm looking for an exit, I'm looking for a door, but the eyes keep on following across the wood floor. Hell is other people, baby, don't you know? In the flicker, in the flash of the social show, the mirror in their eyes is a prison for the soul, where you lose the pieces and you lose the whole. Yeah, it's a crowded damnation, a collective heat underneath the rhythm of the city beat. Playing a part in a play we didn't write, underneath the glare of the fluorescent light. You're my judge and my jury, and I'm yours as well, building the walls of this sophisticated hell. We don't need the fire, we don't need the coals, just the slow, steady friction of 2 million souls trapped in the reflection of what we pretend. A cycle of judgment that has no real end. You know, it's not about the hate, it's not about the anger or the noise. It's the look, the gaze that turns you into an object, a thing to be labeled, a thing to be known. You're only free when you're completely alone. But even then, you carry their voices in your head. You see yourself through their eyes. You're a prisoner of the other. No exit, no key. Just a room full of mirrors that look just like me. Hell is other people, baby, don't you know? In the flicker and the flash of the social show, the mirror in their eyes is a prison for the soul, where you lose the pieces and you lose the whole. Nowhere to hide, yeah. In this lo-fi space we find the them, caught in the trap of the social stem. Hell is the other, baby. Let it roll. No exit. Other people, just you and me. The emerald heat has started to fade, retreating back into the cooling shade. The calendar turns a dusty page as the forest steps onto a golden stage. Don't call it a passing, don't call it the end. There's a secret message in the river's bend. The sky is a deeper sapphire blue, bringing a different kind of life into view. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the hue, something old becoming something brand new. The garden is turning, the lights getting low, setting the stage for a brilliant show. Autumn is a second spring, baby, don't you see? A masterpiece of fallen geometry, when every leaf is a flower in the air, dancing in the fire without a single care. Yeah, it's a bloom in the amber light, a second chance before the middle of the night. Crimson petals on the sidewalk floor, gold and copper knocking at your door. It's not a fading, it's a grand debut, in a dress of ochre and a coat of blue. The jazz is in the rustle, the funk is in the fall, a vibrant symphony for one and all. The trees are undressing to show their soul, while the season plays a beautiful role, you know. Most people think of the fall as a goodbye, the dying season, the long sleep. But take a closer look. These trees aren't giving up. They're celebrating. They're trading their work clothes for evening gowns, every leaf that hits the ground. It's a blossom, a petal, a work of art. It's a rebirth in the cool air. Why wait for April when October is burning this bright? It's a second spring, and it's the most honest one we've got. There's a flower in the air, dancing in the fire, without a single care. In this lo-fi space, we find the new, beneath the velvet of a cooling dew. Every leaf is a flower, baby, let it roll. The second spring, the golden bloom, fall into it. They drew a circle and they told me to stay, to deny the light and the turn of the day. Put a hand on the book, put a knee on the floor, and lock all the logic behind a heavy door. They said the center is fixed and the spirit is still, submitting the stars to a mortal's will. I signed the paper with a trembling hand, while the shadows were shifting across the sand. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the decree, a truth that doesn't need an apology. The friction of the heavy and the pull of the light, a secret rhythm in the middle of the night. And yet it moves, baby, don't you feel the steady rotation of the velvet wheel? No matter the whisper, no matter the lie, the truth's still dancing across the sky. Yeah, you can't stop the motion, you can't stop the flow. The world's gonna turn where it's meant to go, and yet it moves. The ink is dry, but the gravity's real, a cosmic clockwork that no one can steal. You can silence the man, you can burn the page, but you can't keep the universe inside of a cage. The planets don't care for the titles we wear, they're spinning through silence and freezing air. A magnificent dance, a beautiful spin, regardless of the trouble that we're living in. You know, authority is a loud thing. It has voices and robes and heavy gavels. It can tell you the sun goes around the yard. It can force you to recant the music in your heart. You can say the words they want to hear, just to stay alive, just to see another dawn. But the earth, it doesn't listen to the court. It doesn't care about the recantation. It just keeps its appointment with the stars. It keeps turning, it keeps moving. Truth isn't a consensus, it's a momentum. Look down, feel that? Yeah. Of the velvet wheel, no matter the whisper, no matter the lie, the truth is still dancing across the sky. Yeah, you can't stop the motion, you can't stop the flow. The world's gonna turn where it's meant to go. In this lo-fi space, we find the how, launching the orbit right sun comes up on the edge of the world. A story of a man in a stone unfurled, shoulder to the granite, feet in the dust, moving with emotion that he has to trust. Up the steep incline, step by heavy step, secrets in the silence that the mountain kept. The peak is a tease, a fleeting little prize, underneath the weight of the indifferent skies. Just before the summit, just before the wind, the gravity takes over and the rolls begin. It's a quiet vibration, a hollow kind of sound, watching all the effort heading for the ground. But in the pause at the top, in the empty air, there's a strange kind of freedom that he finds right there. Oh, you gotta imagine Sisyphus happy, baby, in the loop of the logic, in the absurdity, pushing up the rock, finding his own beat, in the heat of the struggle and the city street. Yeah, it's a soul-filled labor, it's a conscious choice to give the silent stone a melodic voice. One must imagine Sisyphus happy tonight. Now he's walking down to the plain, free from the burden and the physical pain. This is the moment, this is the hour where the consciousness blooms like a desert flower. He knows the rock is coming, knows the hill is tall, but he's the master of the rise and the master of the fall. The struggle itself is enough to fill the heart, turning the punishment into a work of art. The universe is silent, but the groove is loud. He's walking with a smile, lonely and proud. You know, we look at the loop and we see a prison. We see the same desk, the same road, the same rock. We think, what's the point if it just rolls back down? But the point isn't the top of the hill, the point is the push. The point is the sweat on your brow and the rhythm in your step. When you stop asking why and start feeling the now. The rock doesn't own you anymore, you own the rock. Every grain of that stone, every mineral in that dark mountain. It's a world of its own and it's yours. So smile, push it again. Sisyphus happy, baby, in the loop of the logic, in the absurdity, pushing up the rock, finding his own beat, in the heat of the struggle and the city street. In this lo-fi space, we find it all, standing steady, standing tall. He walks the line and he keeps the pace, a perfect shadow in a crowded space, adapting to the wind, adjusting to the rain, finding the comfort in a familiar chain. They call him reasonable, they call him wise, but the horizon stays flat in his peaceful eyes. He fits the mold, he follows the stream, a quiet passenger in a collective dream. It's a quiet vibration, a smooth running gear, where the edges are soft and the path is quite clear. But the water stays still in a perfectly round bowl, with no friction to spark the fire of the soul. The reasonable man adapts to the world tonight, unreasonable one, he stands his ground, trying to turn the whole world around. Yeah, all the progress, the shift and the plan depend on the will of the unreasonable man. He sees a wall and he calls it a door. He's always looking for the what if and more. He won't bend his soul to the way it's always been. He's the beautiful glitch in the smooth machine. Persistence is a heavy, magnificent weight, trying to move the mountains and renegotiate fate. They call him difficult, they call him a fool, but he's the one rewriting every single rule. You know, it's easy to be reasonable, to just blend in, to nod, to agree, to make yourself small enough to fit the box the world gave you. But if we all did that, we'd still be staring at the cave walls. We need the friction. We need the ones who refuse to adapt, the ones who look at the world and say, no, you changed for me. It's messy, it's loud, it's unreasonable, but that's the only way the needle ever moves forward. That's where the jazz lives. Reasonable man adapts to the world tonight, under the glow of the pale street light. But the unreasonable one, he stands his ground, trying to turn the whole world around. Yeah, all the progress, the shift and the plan depend on the will of the unreasonable man. In this lo-fi space we find the why, beneath the velvet of a changing sky. Don't be reasonable, baby, let it roll. All progress is on you, the unreasonable man. Woke up this morning in a body I didn't choose, with a handful of rhythm and a pocket full of blues. No manual in the drawer, no label on the skin, just the empty space where the story starts to begin. It looked for a purpose like a prize in a box, trying to pick the master key for the ancient locks. But the room was empty until I walked through the door. Now there's a shadow dancing on the wooden floor. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the design. There's no pre-written rhythm, no dotted line. The sketch is invisible, the ink is still wet, and the masterpiece hasn't even happened yet. Existence precedes essence, baby, don't you see? choice you make, and every single breath and every risk you take. You're not a statue waiting for the stone to fall. You're the one who's building up the garden wall. Destiny's a ghost, a story told by the old, but your own true essence is waiting to be told. The jazz is in the moment, the funk is in the act, turning the fiction into a living fact. You know, we spend so much time asking, who am I supposed to be? Like there's some secret blueprint hidden in the stars. But that's the thing. There is no blueprint. You exist first. You're thrown into the world wide-eyed and nameless, and then you start moving. You start choosing. You start loving and working and failing and trying again. And that right there is your essence. It's not a destination. It's the way you walk the road. You're the architect. Pick up the tools. Baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of pure possibility, first you're just here, taking up the light. Then you define the color in the middle of the night. Don't blueprint yet, make yourself. You are the choice. Coffee's cold and the candle's low, watching the shadows on the wall start to grow. I'm chasing a vision, I'm chasing a dream, but I'm falling apart at every single seam. I hit a wrong note in the middle of the song, thinking I'm weak, thinking I'm wrong, but the silence is waiting for the sound to arrive, and the friction is proof that I'm still alive. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the plan, the struggle that makes us more than a man. The road isn't straight and the map is a lie, but we keep on walking under the velvet sky. Man Earth, yeah, as long as he strives, it's the heat in the engine of our restless lives. Every mistake is a step toward the light, a beautiful stumble in the middle of the night. Yeah, we're failing forward, we're reaching for the sun. The work of the spirit is never quite done. Get found, you're just a statue stuck in the ground. The master was a student who refused to quit, who took every failure and made a fire of it. The funk is in the tension, the soul is in the crack. There's no use in looking or wishing it back. If you're making a mess, you're making a way to a brighter version of a brand new day. You know, we're so afraid of being wrong. We want the perfect line, the perfect beat, the perfect life. But look at the universe. It's a series of collisions. It's stars exploding just to make a little light. Goethe had it right. As long as you're reaching, you're gonna trip. As long as you're striving, you're gonna err. That's not a failure. That's the pulse. If you aren't making mistakes, maybe you stop moving. Keep striving, baby. It's the only way we grow. Manners, yeah, as long as he strives, it's the heat in the engine of our restless lives. Every mistake is a step toward the light, a beautiful stumble in the middle of the night. In this lo-fi space, we find the house, launching the evolution right here and now. Stumble into the light, baby. Let it roll. As long as we strive, we're gonna find our way. Keep on. Keep on. We debate the logic and we analyze the plan, waiting for the spirit to take us by the hand. 1,000 blueprints spread across the floor, but nobody's reaching for the handle of the door. The ink is just a shadow, the speech is just a breeze, walking through a forest while we're counting all the trees. You can theorize the rhythm, you can study every beat, but the jazz don't start until you're moving on your feet. It's a quiet vibration, a pulse beneath the skin, waiting for the moment that you finally dive in. The logos is a ghost, the logic is a seed, but the garden doesn't grow on a maybe or a plead. In the beginning was the deep, baby, don't you see? The spark of the action, the true priority. Before the word was spoke, before the thought was spun, the world was already moving, the work was being done. Yeah, forget the philosophy, forget the grand design, the power's in the motion. The deed is the first line. Master doesn't think about the physics of the string. He just lets the hammer fall and lets the metal ring. Calculations fail where the inspiration flows. It's the doing of the thing that nobody really knows. A signature of lightning in the world of static gray. One single act can sweep the doubt away. Don't tell me what you're thinking, don't tell me what you've read. Just show me the movement, put the theories all to bed. You know, we're obsessed with the word, the explanation, the justification, the perfect sentence. We think if we name it, we own it. But look at the stars, they didn't wait for a name to burn. Look at the heart, it didn't wait for a reason to beat. Goethe knew the secret, Faust found the key. You can't think your way into existence. You have to act your way into the light. In the beginning, it wasn't a whisper, it was a move, it was a strike, it was the deed. already before the word was spoken, before the thought was spun. The world was already moving, the work was being done. Yeah. In this lo-fi space, we find the now, launching the miracle. We finally show 'em how. We finally show 'em how. The deed is the answer, baby. Let it roll. In the beginning, the deed, action. Looking up at the midnight blue, seeing patterns that are ancient and true. Not just stars scattered in the deep, but a secret rhythm that the heavens keep. Triangles dancing in the Orion belt, a logic that can finally be felt. It's not a mystery, it's not a ghost. It's a cosmic calculation from coast to coast. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the code, a golden ratio on a winding road. From the spiral of a shell to the rings of a sphere, the symphony of numbers is perfectly clear. The universe is written, baby, don't you see? In the language of math and geometry. It's in the sign of the wave and the pulse of the beat. Calculated beauty making life so sweet. Yeah, the stars are just equations in a velvet sky. Mathematics is the how and the why. Jazz is in the fractions, the funk is in the prime, measuring the distance and the flow of time. Every atom's got a number, every shadow's got a line, part of a sophisticated grand design. You don't need a miracle to see the light, just a little algebra in the middle of the night. Pi in the circle, the root of the tree. The soul is a variable, wild and free. You know, we think of math as cold, numbers on a page, dry ink, hard logic. But look at the way a galaxy swirls. Look at the symmetry in a snowflake with the rhythm of your own heart. It's not just cold calculation. It's a poem written in light and gravity. Galileo saw it, that divine architecture. The universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in ratios. It speaks in harmony. It's the ultimate groove. And we're just part of the sum. Don't you see? In the language of math and geometry. It's in the sign of the wave and the pulse of the beat. Calculated beauty, making life so sweet. In this lo-fi space, we find the old, standing steady, standing tall. The universe is written. I see the city moving in a frantic blur, searching for a meaning, a word or a stir. Everyone is chasing a ghost in the street, with a hollow heart and tired, heavy feet. But I'm sitting here in the amber light, watching the shadows dance with the night. There's a quiet power in the center of my chest, a place where the spirit finally comes to rest. It's a quiet vibration, a pulse in the vein, a shelter from the cold in the driving rain. It's not a maybe and it's not a guess, it's the only truth that I need to confess. The greatest happiness of this life we lead is the one deep root, the sacred seed. The conviction, baby, solid and true, that we are loved in everything we do. Yeah, the knowing, the feeling, the ultimate grace is being cherished in this vast, lonely space. It's not about the money or the things we own, it's about the feeling that we're never alone. Even when the clouds cover up the moon and the world is singing a dissonant tune, there's a steady hand, a familiar voice that turns the static into a beautiful choice. To believe in the light, to believe in the flame, to know that the universe whispers your name. You know, we spend so much time looking for the big thrills, the peaks, the prizes, the loud applause. But the deepest joy is much quieter than that. It's a foundation, it's the absolute certainty that you matter, that somebody, somewhere sees the whole of you and decides you're worth the sun and the stars. That's the conviction, that's the home you carry inside. Once you know you're loved, the rest is just background music. I look for a master, I look for a sign, a pre-written script or a dotted line. But the heavens are silent, the stars are just cold, and all of the prophecies already sold. There's no map in my pocket, no hand on my arm, no cosmic insurance to keep me from harm. Just a wide open hallway with no end in sight, and 1,000 choices in the middle of the night. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the soul, the burden of playing the lead in the role. No one to blame for the turns that I take, and the beautiful mess of the choices I make. Man is condemned to be free, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of pure responsibility, no anchors to hold us, no cages to stay, just the weight of the sun at the end of the day. Yeah, it's a sentence of life, it's a prison of choice, finding the rhythm in our own lonely voice. The coffee, you chose the street, the rhythm of pavement beneath your feet. You're the paint of the canvas, the brush and the ink. It's a much bigger burden than you probably think. You can't hide in the shadows of destiny's hand when you're the one walking across the sand. Every yes, every no, every maybe you speak is the mountain of spirit that you have to seek. You know, we always talk about freedom like it's a gift, something we're searching for, something we win. But look at it closely, it's a sentence. You're thrown into this world with no manual, no guide. You didn't ask to be here, but here you are. And from this moment on, everything you do is on you. There are no excuses, no, that's just how I am. You are what you do, nothing more, nothing less. It's terrifying, isn't it? To be completely, utterly responsible. The door is wide open, and that's the hardest part. Condemned to be free, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of pure responsibility, no anchors to hold us, no cages to stay, just the weight of the sun at the end of the day. Yeah, it's all on you, no more excuses. Stay in the choice, stay in the groove. In this lo-fi space, we find all standing steady, standing tall. You're the master of the act, baby. Condemned but free. The choice is yours.